Welcome to the Feel Better, Be Better show. Today, Kate and Nevada will answer your questions and introduce new topics designed to help feel better and be better. These are raw conversations, but they will make a difference.
All right, so let's see here. So we went over my lack of mobility, your extra mobility. There's a whole lot of mobility in here.
Whole lot of mobility.
A few tangents.
Always.
Well, I mean, it is me, so that should be my middle name.
Probably.
I need an extra middle name. Can you have two middle names?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You
Well, got a couple of items I got to do too. Anyway, so enjoy mobility talk. Oh, let's see here. What are we doing? We're doing mobility?
Mobility.
Lack of mobility?
Sure.
I guess it depends on what day. Some days I kind of immobile, sometimes I'm immobile.
Yeah.
Sounded the same there. Whatever. All right, so we've both been doing a little bit of mobility.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you and I really discussed like the reasons behind it, because I think both of us just kind of knew.
Say that's fair.
I mean, we didn't really have a chance it just never came up of like neither one of us kind of said, well, why? It's just kind of one of those things where we're like, we're just going to do.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's important. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I guess we should maybe get into the importance of mobility.
Yeah. It could be interesting because maybe we have different reasons why it's important.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go first or me?
I don't care.
I don't care either. Ready? At the same time. Go. No? All right. So, no, I'll go fine. I'll go fine with mine. So, I mean, I am approaching an age where I have to worry about mobility a little bit. I mean, this is about the time where people start, you see people walking around that can't really, they don't have much movement in their back, their hips start going, knees, ankles, all that kind of stuff, where they just don't have the mobility, nor the shoulder or the neck.
When you have a little bit of like, I don't know if I call them injury, but problem areas that have more limited mobility because of the fact that they bother you anyway.
Yes, it's called my body. Those are the injured,
I'm trying to be nice
areas.
here. I'm trying to get,
yes. Okay.
not throw you completely under the bus. Like, yeah, your whole body sucks, but
And then let's be honest. I mean, I may have a lot of areas that cause me pain on a regular basis, and I may have a lot of areas that I have limited certain mobilities. But I mean, a lot of those were from not doing enough mobility stuff, not working on that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'm getting to the point though where it's really starting to become obvious to me. It may not seem that way from other people, but it's definitely obvious to me that I can't quite reach as far back or whatever, or quite come through things as much as I used to, and definitely not be able to twist and that kind of stuff and everything. So I'm like, if I'm already there here, how is it going to be in another 10 years, 20 years, 30, if I live that long? Yeah, crazy things happen. But anyway, I mean, if I am going to, I mean, I'm going to have to start working on it. Or it's going to be, can somebody please roll me over there?
which is the worst.
Yeah. So, I mean, that and a little bit of it's going to be really hard to do any strength training or regular training, cardio training, or whatever if I'm going to basically make things even worse if I don't get some of my mobility back.
True.
So, I mean, it's kind of one of those, there's two things.
Hurt yourself.
Yeah. Well, I never do that. So that's why it's important to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, for me, I mean, I'm still fairly mobile. I've always...
Feels like an insult. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm way better than you.
So.
So.
at everything. At everything.
Just put it on the list of everything else. No. No, I mean, I'm fairly mobile, and that's never been a concern. And as far as like keeping mobility, but going to school and some jobs that I've had, I've been in a lot of places where I've seen seniors and the difference that it makes when you keep moving and you keep that mobility versus when you don't.
Yeah, you're not near as good as when you're a freshman.
Yeah, funny.
Hey, I'm here all week.
Just this week?
Yeah, I'm kidding. Every week. Here every week. Still a bad line. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, so I've seen what happens when you get older if you work on mobility versus when you don't, or you just don't become active and it just kind of compiles on itself. But interestingly, with doing the mobility exercises, adding them in there, I still notice major jumps in mobility, even though I feel like I'm fairly good overall in most areas. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it helps improve a lot of other areas and stuff too. So
Well, I think one of the real interesting things is you don't really realize, because as you've gone through multiple years of doing whatever you do, which, I mean, you could be a runner, you could be a working out person, you could do all that kind of things, but there might be a lot of functions that you're doing on a regular basis. But if you don't do things differently and change things up, your body's going to adapt and say, oh, you don't really need to move like this because you're not moving like that. I mean, I think a prime example would be our feet, especially in America here, right? Where we pretty much, as soon as you're born, we're wrapping those things in thick soles and rubber and everything all the time.
arch support,
all that kind of stuff, where if you don't, and you let people grow up with actually using their feet. I mean, they can use them almost as like hands. I mean, they can grip, they can, do all. I mean, we see those people that have to learn how to train their feet, and they're able to do that.
Yeah, I look at people who lose their arms from different accidents and have to use their hands as feet.
Yeah.
Feet as hands, backwards.
And kind of goes both ways on that one then. I mean, hands as feet, feet as hands. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, you can see where they develop it. And they're not near as good as what they would be, but they started out that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we even talk about like the shape of the foot so much too. I mean, it's people that don't use shoes. I mean, they're still their toes and everything are a lot wider, they're a lot more defined, and they're able to do a lot more things with it. Whereas if you wear shoes, like in the civilized world, I mean, basically you end up with very straight, narrow together type shoes or type feet.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Really, I'm glad you had so much more on that.
What else do you want me to say?
I didn't know I was such an expert on feet.
I'm not. I hate them. So.
Well, I think the biggest
somebody has to be.
Yeah, there you go. I think the biggest one though is that now you got to find a way, if you're going from not using any of those muscles, pretty much from where you are a very little person,
Mm-hmm.
to now you want to try to get some of that mobility back. I mean, you're not going to be able to I'm going to start doing toe raises or whatever heck it would cost, whatever heck you need to do to start getting your feet back going. I mean, we're just using this whole scenario. You're going to have to build it from the beginning. I mean, you have to really start slow in little increments and little additions.
Yeah. Well, and I think about too with all of this, so many people, when they have a knee go bad or hip go bad, it throws everything out of balance to where then something else goes bad because it's compensating for what was originally bad. So if you don't have good mobility in your ankles and your knees and your hips and all throughout your body, you're going to compound it and have it in other areas down the road too. So you're just progressively going to lose more mobility.
Well, there's tons of people now that are claiming, a lot of the knee injuries we're having now and all that kind of stuff, I mean, are more tied to our ankles and feet, that we don't have near the strength and mobility in those anymore because of what we've done with wrapping kids up in shoes all the time. And I mean, we're not hanging out at pools all day long, and we're not, being, we just don't allow kids to go out without any shoe coverings anymore, that they don't have that strength. So the only thing that goes out is their knees, really. What do you got there?
Sorry, I just love how passionate you are when you wear shoes all the time. Like you never
All the
take them
time.
off.
All the time. I'm horrible. I am absolutely awful. I mean, I literally am like, wake up in the morning, shoes go on, and I run all day, and then I'm going to bed. I'm like, oh, I gotta take my shoes off, and that's how I live. And it makes me so mad because I'm super passionate about not wearing them, and I wear them all day long.
I know, it's just making me laugh over here because
Glad
I'm
I
like,
did.
you never take them off.
It literally defines like my entire life. I'm literally like a contradiction of everything. And it's like, oh, you should totally do this. Do you do that? No. Like, no. Why would I do that? That's insane. I know it's super smart, but you should totally do that. No, we've literally talked about like instituting some of those policies or doing more of that. And we're just not quite in the situation where we can right now, but.
No, but then I walk around barefoot today putting up these curtains in here so we could have muffled sound. And you looked at me like, what are you doing?
Well, I was kind of more of like, way to go.
Oh, okay.
Like, what's going on?
I felt judged, but I'm glad it was that instead.
No, he's like, yeah, nice feet. See, just sounds bad. We got to get over that hump.
Well, I just don't like them in general, so that makes it worse.
Okay, sure. Yeah, they're just feet. I mean, you say it's in your hands or?
No.
Okay, well, they're just your feet. Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Mobility.
Well, but I'm just so you can take that whole thing on your feet because I mean that's something almost everybody in America can agree to. And what if you have it in your shoulders? What if you have it in your hips? What if you have it in those type areas? I mean, the build for that is going to be really painstakingly slow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not going to be able to just like, oh, I'm going to start doing these, and you're going to go. No, it's going to take long time.
Yeah, but even while it does, you notice pretty quickly after you start doing them a difference in them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think about one for myself, just noticing the difference in ease of movement and flexibility and everything, range of motion. But even Greg, our friend Greg, who we put on this, who was like, I don't know, comes in a couple weeks later all spry and helped him out a ton. So
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you will feel it, but I don't think you'll really see the fullness of it.
no, but you'll notice a difference. It's not like you're gonna chug along for a year with nothing and then maybe eventually something will happen.
Now, one of the biggest things for me is I know when I'm doing my mobility stuff correctly and a couple other exercises, I mean, I start losing a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I'm not, I start feeling a lot of pain
Mm-hmm.
because I have a couple impingements that basically have to be reworked on a regular basis.
Yep.
From those injuries of me doing stupid stuff like playing sports and jumping off picnic tables or houses or something or whatever. Sure.
I'm glad you didn't just leave it at sports.
No, I had way better injuries that weren't sports related. What? I mean, don't tell me not to do anything. And so
It's still true today.
yeah, some people just never grow up. We used to have a song for that one too, but
The Toys R Us song.
yeah,
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid.
yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
But I don't think we really have Toys R Us anymore.
They're coming back.
Yeah, they won't be around long.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's gonna be all online. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Sorry, I saw the business model and I'm like, yeah, that's not going anywhere. Because I saw that headline too, like Toys R Us coming back. I'm like, really? Like, you kind of went out of business for a reason. And then I saw what they were planning on doing. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so mobility. Now, so your experience,
Mm-hmm.
you probably seen where people that were very immobile.
Yes and no.
At least the wide,
Yes.
at least the wide range.
I did. I saw people who could do virtually nothing and still were working on mobility exercises, to people who could do a lot of things, surprisingly, dependent on where their age was and stuff too,
Mhm.
and doing mobility exercises.
Yeah. So for most of the part, the people that they have found that have been, what's the right word, that tend to be older,
Mm-hmm.
tend to be very mobile.
Yeah. What's crazy though is like in the water classes I taught in the senior center I worked at, you could have like 70, 80-year-old people, sometimes 90, coming in, doing the exercises, and they looked great. You would never guess they were as old as they were. Like, they could move well, especially in the water. It's kind of deceiving a little bit because you got a lot less weight and you got a lot more that you can use range of motion. But even outside of that, but then there'd be people like in the assisted living that were like 50 years old and couldn't get out of a wheelchair, couldn't walk anymore. So yes, but also lifestyle plays a huge factor in that as well.
Mm. Well,
But even the people who are the best as they're older with mobility are not as mobile as somebody who's 20, 30 years younger than them.
no,
That's around the same activity level.
of course, they grew up in an era where they really didn't have to. I mean, most of their jobs and lifestyles were extremely mobile. So as they got older and everything became easier and less where they had to do stuff, I mean, that mobility probably kicked in pretty hard. I mean, probably hurt them pretty hard.
And you know what? That group of people is the most dedicated at showing up
Yeah.
to keep doing their exercises because they understand how important they are for their body. People who are like 20s, 30s, it's like, oh yeah, it's a great workout, but if I miss one, it's not a big deal. That group knows like, oh no, if I miss one, like I'm gonna feel it the next day. Or I mean, a lot of them too, it provides a lot of social interaction for them, and they might not have a spouse anymore or be able to get out of the house and go do stuff as much anymore. So There's a lot of reasons they don't miss, but they do not miss.
Yeah. Well, obviously coming from the way it is over the hill, you definitely feel it way more.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just our bodies. The era that we're in, and all the conveniences that we have. You just don't realize how long it takes for you to gain and lose on that type of stuff, on your mobility, your athleticism, and that kind of stuff, your agility as well. So, we always say, I'm behind a desk 50, 60 hours a week. I mean, that's really hard when you look back and you're like, man, I was so much better shape when I was younger or whatever. And you're like, well, yeah, I was back when I went to school. I mean, shoot, we had like 2 hours of recess, and I was always playing a sport, and I was like, on the weekends I was doing sports, and every night I was doing sports, and it's like, if I tried to do that now, I wouldn't even make it through like 3 days, and I'd be like, and ice bath.
Well, and outside of that, like, I remember, the summertime or in the evenings, I'd run around the neighborhood with friends doing whatever craziness that we got into. So not even necessarily sports related, but we still ran around and did a bunch of stuff.
You don't do that now?
Not as much.
You don't have friends?
I know.
Plural.
I know.
It always gets me in trouble. I'm like, I want to go do a friend thing, but I don't have a friend.
I got friends.
There you go. Nice.
They came and played volleyball with me one time.
One time. Nice. One time.
One time.
We tried to do a second time and nobody showed up.
No, we just had softball on those nights.
Yeah, no kidding. No.
Every night.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's one of those things where you definitely feel more as you age, especially after you get, into your 30s, past your 35 and on further, you start kind of really feeling that kind of stuff a little bit more. But I've always wondered, and I don't know if there's ever really a good study to be able to do this, if you could almost revert to as much activity you did when you were younger, which would take some time, if you would still feel that. Because
Probably not.
because that's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, we just, things don't work as well when you're older. Well, is it a product of age, or is it a product of the fact that you just are never quite going to be that physical again?
I would assume most of it would be the latter.
I would agree. I mean, you look at some people that do some very physical activities even later in life that may have, that they're okay doing those. But you do one little change where they do some yard work stuff and they're, laid up for a week.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they're what they do that is really physical that could lay somebody else up for a week, they can do every single day, all day long, and have no problems with it whatsoever. And you switch it over, and boom, you can't move.
Yeah.
So that kind of is giving you a little bit of an answer right there that it's more of your activity.
Mm-hmm.
And then you run into some serious instances where it's really hard. We're very easy of getting into a pattern. So where it's like, oh yeah, but I love my yoga class, or I love my Zumba class, or I love my whatever thing you're doing. Oh, I love softball on Tuesday nights, or whatever it is.
Or like you get into running and cycling. A lot of those people have a hard time cross training.
Yeah.
Because they love that one thing.
And their circle ends up being that.
Mm-hmm.
Their friends end up.
And if you want to get really good at it, it's easy to put all your time into it.
Well, we kind of have that thing where.
I'm not saying it's correct, but.
No. We just kind of have that thing where we enjoy being successful at something. So, I mean, it's. If you go on you bike ride with somebody and they just absolutely destroy you every single time, unless you have a serious competitive streak in you. I don't see any mirrors around here. But anyway, you wouldn't just continue to keep taking that beating. You would go find something that you were better at.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of almost, we were just kind of, our psyche almost puts us into the thing where we're going to continue to do the same repetitive things all the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, trying to find stuff that will mix it up. And then you think about the flip side, and you're like, well, somebody should do a class for that or whatever. How are you going to sell that class?
We just do random stuff every week.
Yeah, come see me for an hour. We're going to do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Who knows what we'll do this week?
Exactly. Who's signing up for that class? Nobody. Nobody's going to do that class. So, I mean, I know you have your class, and they change up stuff all the time.
Yeah, but it's still within the same world of types of exercises.
Yeah. You guys are doing a lot of compound lifts.
No, I mean there's a lot of other stuff too, but
I don't know, I'm not in the class.
yeah, I mean it's hard because the class changes from session to session of what it kind of is, but it's very much like, okay, you've got this move that you're doing to build strength over here, and we might add in a little bit of cardio, but it's still strength building cardio. So you're doing short bursts of these exercises.
Oh, I know what they call that.
What?
HIIT.
Yeah, kind of, but not quite as high cardio for, not as quite as high intensity, but yeah.
Okay, so it's low, high intensity interval training.
Sure.
There we go. Yeah. What? It's like what yoga did I send you this week?
Rage yoga.
Rage yoga. Yeah, I was like, I stole my idea. Wanted HIIT yoga, but it's like, I guess rage. The I don't know if you even looked at it.
I didn't read it. Is
No,
it
it was
explained similar.
It was more like real raging.
I was
kinda
gonna
like,
say from from just the title, it doesn't sound like HIIT yoga, so I think you still got to mark it.
I can still get it.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I want to definitely do some high intensity.
Down dog, up
Interval
dog, down
training.
dog, up dog.
Feel the burn. All right, break.
All right, you get 20 seconds, so we're doing the next one.
20 seconds. Get your whatever it is, your ohms. Get your ohms in. You got 20 seconds. Ready? Go. That's
5 deep breaths. Now.
In, out. Come on, deeper.
I think your class will be very successful.
I need a lot of sarcastic people for that class just to be able to put it on TV just to have a good time.
If anything, they will get the benefit of laughter out of it.
You gotta get, again, it's gotta be the right audience.
Yeah.
You know that, and as soon as I posted like that, I would get so much hate comments on that one. I mean, there'd
All
be,
the real yogis. This is not yoga.
man, the yoga people would be so mad, and then the HIIT people would be also mad. Which is true. If you can make everybody mad at you, then you did something right. But whatever. But no. So anyway, so that is the problem with mobility. You want to be able to change it up on a regular basis. Well, finding somebody that's going to do, like, I mean, you do a yoga class for like a couple weeks, and then maybe you go do, an agility type class for a couple weeks, or some kind of whatever else, some weight training or whatever. So you're trying to mix it up. Well, just being able to find those people that do that kind of stuff could be an issue. Because then they got to be able to fit into your schedule, what it works for you, and all that kind of stuff. And you can say, well, I'm gonna do it online, but I mean, we're just not very dedicated on that kind of stuff.
Or it's hard because a lot of places have it set up to where you have to like pay for a session or X amount of sessions that are from the same instructor. So what, you're gonna go pay $30 for this one and then $30 for, like, that adds up fast.
Yep.
Makes it hard.
Yep. Let's see if we're doing mobility. So one other thing in mobility that I don't think, I mean, obviously we'll talk about, but hardly anybody does, and we kind of make it a very physical type thing. But I mean, the buildup of inflammation in your body can be a huge deterrent to your mobility. And so, I mean, you just got some markers back on yours that said your inflammation count was down.
Really good.
Yeah, good for you.
Except for stress inflammation. That was suspect. It wasn't high.
That's so shocking with you. The
I don't know. I'm like the chillest person you probably have ever met.
Sure. As long as you don't say anything.
People mistake that I'm like on pot or something all the time.
Yeah, me too.
You actually are chilled though.
Wait a minute. Maybe it's more correct. Yeah, okay, there we go. Anyway. Sorry. When I was younger, they literally sent me to get tested because they thought I was on cocaine or speed. And I was just like, no, I'm just going.
You just have a lot of energy.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Which is funny because I was always negative. They were almost mad. But anyway, no, I mean, yours came back good, which is good for you. But I mean, I know I've noticed this since we have changed up our diet quite a bit, how much more mobility I've gotten and less pain in areas that were problems. So, I mean, that can also be a factor in that. I mean, you've got age, you have workout, you've got diet. I mean, obviously sleep, which, I mean, diet and sleep and activity is all severely linked. And usually they'll all benefit the other.
Yeah.
So, anything else that I'm missing on
Probably, but
mobility?
Probably, but I can't think of anything else.
I don't know. I like saying mobility. It's so much fun.
I like the eye roll with it.
Yes. Well, it's me. Eye rolls come with it. That's why I usually wear the sunglasses so people can't see me eye roll.
That's the best part.
Well, no. So instead, I gotta make sure I make the head motion.
Oh.
You know, because if I know I got my glasses on, I want you to know I'm rolling my eyes. Got to put the head motion in too.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how I roll. All right, so if we're gonna wrap it up for our mobility.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody, go get mobile.
Do your exercises. If you have questions on exercises, we'll put the link in the bottom for some that we like.
Yeah.
And we have some videos on YouTube on.
Here we go.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Kate and Nevada. Hope you've enjoyed this show and found it useful and empowering. If you have any questions or comments, please contact them at Kinetics.com. That's KNETICX.com. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. And please write a review of the show. Kate and Nevada appreciate hearing the feedback, and they welcome your reviews, and your word of mouth will help others learn how to feel better and be better.